Cool, 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 cool.
And then I'll ask you, I like to find out like how people got into improv afterwards. I like to talk about that.
Cool.
But yeah, I don't usually, I mean, I definitely don't want to dissect the scene and like ask moves or anything like that. I just more like to find out like how you got into improv and a little bit about your story and things like that.
Sounds good. Yeah. No, no over analyzing. That's
I've done those before, and it's like, oh, I don't remember any of that stuff.
yeah. My brain does. First of all, I probably won't remember half of what we did, even if it's only 10 minutes. And second of all, it's just a good way to make yourself think, God, I hate every choice I made in that scene, isn't it? So let's not bother.
Why did you choose that voice? You mean my voice? That's my actual voice. I guess I was given it. All right, so pick a number 1 to 77.
Oh wow. Oh my gosh. Oh, I mean, I'm gonna be childish and go for 69 because that's just funny.
Solid. Solid. 776 5 4 3 2 1. This comes from Cece. Oh, Cece Garrison. And our suggestion is keeping your word. Keeping your word. Thanks, Cece.
Ooh. Thank you, Cece.
Hey.
Hi.
How are you?
I'm good. I was just gonna paint my nails.
Go ahead.
How are you? How are you?
I'm good. I don't want to stop you from painting your nails.
It's okay. I can talk and paint.
Okay. I'm
How?
good.
Yeah. I mean, you look great.
Oh, thank you. You look great too.
Um, you came back.
Yeah. It's been I mean, it's a year.
Yeah. Yeah, I have to say I'm surprised to see you. I wasn't sure you'd want to be back here again.
Would you believe me if I said I was like I have a calendar and I literally counted the days down and every day that I marked off was a day closer to coming back?
Really?
Yeah. Honest to
Oh. God, uh, that makes me really glad. I was just so worried that you would just not want to be here. You wouldn't want to see me. You'd just be like, oh God, no, do I have to go do that again? So yeah, I'm glad you're here.
My face gives off that impression. That's not I mean, that's not an uncommon thought. I process a lot of things, and when I process it, I look very stoic.
Mm, stoic. Yeah, that's a very good word to describe you, actually. You're very resilient.
Oh, thanks. Huh.
So come on then, tell me, how's the year been?
Good. It's been challenging in some ways, but every day's gotten a little bit better. What about you? How's it been for you?
Yeah. Okay. I think good would be a stretch. Challenging also. I missed you a lot.
We did make a promise.
Yeah. I thought perhaps by the time the year or, had passed, you might not want to keep that promise anymore.
Because of my face. Yeah, but I had to come back. Not like, I don't mean like I had to come back, like, oh, I gotta come back. I mean, I guess I should say I got to come back. It was, I'm not gonna lie, it was really hard not to contact you at all during the year.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, thank God. Because I was dying to call you like every single day. But I thought, no, we promised we were going to have this year apart and then just see what happened when we were finally back together. I really, really wanted to call you, but I didn't want to annoy you. And also, we made a promise. So I didn't. But I missed you so much. I thought about you every single day. I was like, what would we be doing if we were to, like, if I was in the park, I would be thinking about like walking along holding hands with you. Or if I was in the supermarket, I would be thinking about what I would buy for dinner if you were with me. I missed you a lot.
Yeah. Um, I got something. I brought something.
Okay.
Uh, all right. I was debating if I should give this to you or not, and I'm gonna give it to you. So you got to just, I mean, close your eyes, and I'm gonna get it.
Okay.
Close your eyes.
Okay.
Don't peek.
Okay.
Don't
Should
peek.
I put, I'm not peeking. Should I put my hands out?
Yeah. Put your hands up, but don't
I,
peek.
I'm not, I promise I'm not peeking.
Promise.
Pinky promise. Cross my heart. Hope to die.
Where?
I swear.
Okay. Open your eyes. I wrote a letter every day, and it didn't. They're for you. It didn't start off like a project, but every day I'm
Oh my
like
God.
you. I'm gonna write down some things, and so some. I mean, you could read them at your leisure. Some of them are longer than others, and some are just thoughts, and sometimes it's just a word. But like every day, and I realized like I don't want to not be with you. Like I want to be with you. And I'm and I wrote about this. I'm scared I can't provide for you what you need. And then I wrote, that's not my determination. You've given me no sign of the opposite. You've been very supportive. So I'm I actually spent the last year working on myself a lot.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We, the, I mean, this is beautiful. Like, I, I don't know what to say. I'm so touched. that you thought about me enough to write to me every day. I guess I've been working on myself as well, and I know that I need to accept that you want to be here and stop questioning it so much.
Will you read the one I wrote yesterday? I mean,
Sure.
It's not long, but
I love you too.
I don't know why it took so long to admit it. I love you.
I love you. You're an idiot.
Yeah, I am. It's the face. It's the face. Can you tell I'm excited? Because I am.
I can see a little glint in your eye that tells me that you are excited.
I'm probably the only one that can see that. You want to get ice cream?
Yeah, that sounds fun.
Scene.
Ah.
Oh, you are
Oh my God.
the best to play with.
You're so adorable. That was so much fun.
Oh my goodness. Like it's easy when you feel that it's a place of like trust and safety to play, then it's easy because you're like, I could do anything. When you don't have that feeling, I mean, how many times have you been in that situation where you're like, I don't feel like I don't feel safe. Like, even if it's like my sense of humor or whatever it is, it's like, oh, this is not the situation for me because I'm just not feeling it right now.
Yeah, yeah, I've definitely had that. I think maybe it's more in like jams and things where everyone's like real high adrenaline and like I gotta do the thing.
It's
But
so
yeah, that was the complete opposite of that. That was so simple and easy.
what made you start taking a class? How'd you get into improv?
Oh yeah, you told me you were going to ask me about this. So I kind of did it backwards. I started performing improv and then was like, I should do a class. I trained as an actor before getting into improv and had done musical theatre. So I joined a musical improv group. Um, I auditioned for it, got asked to be in the group, and we were a nursery originals group, so at the nursery theatre, and that was my first introduction to improv, really, aside from reruns of Whose Line Is It Anyway? But
Right.
it's such a different, that was a narrative musical. It's so different as to almost be entirely separate things.
100%. Complete.
Um, yeah, and then obviously people were using language, talking about edits and things that I was like, what, who are these people and what are they talking about? So after I'd been performing for like 2 months, I was like, I'm going to take a class in this. So then I went and did the beginners classes, and I did classes at the nursery, at the FA, at Hoopla. And then, yeah, just kind of got stuck
Was
in the
it?
best way.
Of course. You can't leave. You're in.
Yeah, blood in, blood out.
Was it that? Was the idea to take the class? Was it because of like you were missing some of the terminology of like edits and things like that, where you're like, I want to understand what that is? Because as an actor, you've had improvisational training. Like there are moments that it's just maybe sometimes isn't called improv, but there are exercises
Yeah.
that are that way. Was that the inspiration to take it? Was there part of you that was also like, I'm doing this show, I should know more about it? Or
I think it was a combination of things, really. I just, there were quite a lot of people in that group who were real kind of veteran improvisers. And I was relatively new to acting and obviously complete novice to improv. So I just sort of felt like I should have some grounding, I suppose, in what this art form or interest or whatever you want to call it is. You know, I would like to be playing from the same notebook as the people I'm playing with.
Yeah.
Although actually, you very quickly discover there's 12,000 different notebooks that people are playing from.
Yes.
Uh, so just, I don't know, have fun and don't be a dickhead, really.
Honest to God, if every theater just taught those two things, right? If you were just like, have fun, don't be a dickhead, like
Yeah.
that will get you so much farther. And I look at improv as like a sport. It's like comedy that's a sport. Like it's an ensemble.
Mm.
You build it together, or drama or whatever it is, but it's an ensemble feel. And with sport, there are so many amazing professional athletes who were not trained in like classes, but were like, take a ball and go hit it, go kick it around. And then they developed their own style and then
Yeah.
kind of got trained. And I think there is value in that versus I'm in a class, I'm trying to do the thing the teacher or the theater wants me to do, and that doesn't jibe with what I necessarily want to do. So finding your voice in this can be hard at times if you're going through like a theater structure, because they're teaching you how to do it their way or the way they want you to do it. And sometimes that doesn't fit with what your personal style is.
Oh yeah. It's really interesting. I was talking to Chris Mead at the nursery earlier today, and we were talking about how sometimes when you're teaching people, if they've done shitloads of classes with someone you know, you're like, you studied with Jules or you studied with Maria. I see you, Mini Maria. I see it. Um,
Yeah.
yeah, and then when they get further along, there's like the unpicking of everything they've learned to be like, but what do you want to do?
Right.
Whereas if you can take you with you at the beginning and just add all these tools in from other people, I think maybe that's more beneficial.
My God, take you with you from the beginning. That is brilliant. Like don't lose you, right? Like
Yeah.
honestly, because you get involved in this and you find there's a community, especially early on, those
Mm,
first couple classes where you're like, wow, this is such a supportive thing. And for a lot of human beings, they don't have that feeling of support. And so they get in a place and then it becomes this, as you travel, people start losing that sense of who they are for the sense of this thing. And it's like, no, no, no. The thing only works when you bring you into it. And
mhm.
how do we maintain that as teachers? How do you maintain that? Bring your individuality, bring that sense, bring that into the show, working within the context of being with the group as well. It's like, how do you fit all those instruments together to play that great song? And my friend yesterday, I was talking to a friend of mine, Matt Elwell, and he said, he's noticed in his life, he's always wanted to emulate the high status in what he joined. So when he was in school, he was like, I want to be a teacher. And then he got to something else. He's like, now I want to do that, because he would always want to emulate what that figure is to kind of please them or be a part of that. And I think it's really important for teachers to keep that in mind and say, like, I don't want you to be a me. I don't want you to be this style. I want you to figure your style out and then go find those people who play with you. And that's going to make you more confident, a better performer, and stronger.
Oh yeah. Yeah, I think a lot of improvisers are quite natural people pleasers, which
Yes.
is great for a lot of the stuff that we do in improv, but isn't always the best thing, because actually sometimes you do need boundaries, and sometimes, I don't know, yeah, bringing your own thing is more interesting or more valuable, or it is going to provide more than if you have 12 people all being Jay Suko or Rhiannon Jenkins or whoever. I mean, a room full of 12 Jays sounds great to me, but I don't know if you want that.
No, it doesn't sound great. It doesn't sound great to me It sounds like I think you're right. We tune in and we want to see, it's like, what's your angle? What's your deal? What's your thought of that? What do you find interesting in this situation? Better than that, what do you find fun? This
Yeah.
situation. And that scene you and I did was so much fun. And
Yeah.
it was so fun. And it was just like, oh my goodness, making people laugh is fun. Making people cry is fun. Like finding out, oh, Rhiannon is a really strong actor. Can I do things to highlight that in you and then bring my piece to the puzzle as well at the same time? That to me is the fun part of improvising, is highlighting them with still bringing you into that scene.
Mm. Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. I think, yeah, and just like trying to find ease in a scene is always something that I like to do. I know there's some people who like to be like a dog with a bone in scenes, but I'm like, let's just have a good time, man. Let's just chill together.
Well, and did it take you a while to embrace that's who you are, or have you always been that way of like, this is my style? Because I think sometimes people are that way and they're like, I'm cool with other stuff, but this is how I do it. And then I think sometimes people try on a style and go, oh, that doesn't fit for me, and it takes them a while to go, this is who I am.
That's a really interesting question. I think I definitely like to experiment, and I do think that I have done the thing of sort of putting on the jacket of other people's things. And sometimes I do find it quite interesting uh, to be like, I'm going to play a show and I'm going to try and do it like my friend, you know, I'm going to do a show as if I were Stephen Davidson or something, you know, and just see what that's like. Um, because also the things, I don't know, the things that you notice about other people often aren't the things that they're actually aiming for, I
Oh,
don't think.
totally.
Um,
100%.
so it's fun to do that stuff, and often it's fun to say, oh, I was trying to play like you, and people go, really? Do I do that? Yeah, you do that. No, I don't know. I feel like I've always been pretty comfortable in my own skin, which feels almost like illegal to say, but I quite like myself, generally speaking. There are things that I would work on and am working on for sure, but I quite like I quite like bringing me to the table. I think me is pretty all right.
you're it maybe feels, as you say, illegal to say. I think it feels not common because not a lot of people can say that, right?
Yeah,
Not a lot of people can go, regardless of improv show or just in life, not a lot of people go, I like who I am. I'm working
yeah,
on myself, but I like there aren't, and then you add the added complexity of now you're a performer being judged on a stage. Not many people are going to go, here's who I am. But I think there are, what art and comedy and theater is trying to do is to show that and to be like, this is who I am. And I think improv at its best helps empower us to do that and to go like, no, Rhiannon, that thing you did that you or friends of yours think might be weird is not a weird thing. Bring more of that stuff. We need more of that to the stage and bring that here, and to get people to feel comfortable enough to go, this is who I am, and to have us play from a place of curiosity about the other person rather than that judgment. That's something that takes some people a long time, and some don't ever figure that out either.
yeah, yeah. I guess I am privileged to feel that way about myself. Uh, I think it's a lot to do with good parenting.
For
um,
sure. Yes.
but like, yeah, my mum and dad are both pretty chill. Uh, and I don't remember ever hearing my mum, for example, like talking. Like, I think a lot of women sometimes have issues around the way they view themselves because they hear older women in their lives as that when they're children talking badly about themselves. So then they inherit those like, oh, I've got cellulite, or I'm fat, or oh, my pores too large, or the myriad made up things we have to not like. But I don't think I ever heard mum criticizing herself in that way. So that's a really useful thing to grow up around.
I mean, that's huge to have that to model after.
Mm.
Say that's the way it should be, and it's very easy for us, especially in the world of improv, to downgrade everything and to say I'm an idiot, or like look at how bad I am at stuff, like, and combine
Yeah.
the conditioning for years of people to be like, don't stand out, don't, we go to extremes. So we go, oh, don't brag on yourself, like we don't, there's no middle ground for that. So to be able to be around people to model that behavior and say, no, it doesn't have to be that way. I remember the first time I ate at a friend's house. I was in high school and they sat down for dinner and I went, you all sit at the same table. I was like, what? Like because I didn't come from that world. I came from the world where my
Mm.
parents worked and they worked different schedules. So I didn't have that behavior to model of, no, you sit around the table. It was more like, now's the time to eat, grab food from the refrigerator. So when you start having those people around you and you can now, thankfully, there's with the internet, and with the connection we have of people throughout the world, you can find those folks and say, oh, okay, cool. I can start using that as a behavior modification. Whereas before I felt like you were kind of good luck with a lot of stuff.
Yeah.
It's like, wow, good luck. But now you have these resources to go, hey, if you want to, if you find something's not working for you and you want to change, there are ways to do that. So take advantage.
Oh, yeah. And even like, so my sister is 10 years younger than me. And even the jump from the way me and my peers view things to the way that 18-year-olds view things,
Yes.
they're even more self-assured and uh, confident and aware of uh, diversity and
Yes.
different people's needs. Like,
For sure. Equity.
yeah, yes, yeah, it's really heartening to see that when everything is so shit at the moment in terms of the way that people interact with each other. It's really, it gives me a lot of hope to see that, like, you know what, everything isn't completely fucked. The kids are pretty all right. Like, they've got it sussed. As long as we don't blow up the planet before they grow to be in charge of things, we're going to be fine.
I feel like it's always been a little bit of that way too, of like the Who said it in the 60s, like the kids are all right. Like I think we kind of, as generations get older, they go, well, they'll take care of it. The people behind us. But we are seeing that, especially you're seeing with what's happening politically, that the younger
Mm,
generation is in the States, especially, it's like, oh, they're giving us hope. They're changing elections. They're doing things in a positive way. They're going, no, people can be who they are. Things like gender is fluid is very common for, I live with two 15-year-olds, and to them, it makes complete sense where it's like, no, it's just, that's something that's very fluid. And if you talk to somebody in my parents' generation or even folks in my generation, that is a hard a concept for them. But for the younger generations, like, no, that people should be equal and not just say it. We need to hold people accountable. And these are young kids who are feeling.
mm.
So it is very heartening that, okay, we're, like you said, if we just don't blow up the planet, if we don't, like, if it doesn't get us, I think we're going to be fine.
Yeah, I think the kids are gonna do some good stuff, and I'm hoping they do lots of improv. I think, because at the moment improv feels like sort of a grown-ups game. Maybe that's the UK. I know that from speaking to Jess Mitolo at the nursery, like in the US, there's more kids clubs for improv and stuff, and obviously we do lots of drama for kids at school in the UK. But it seems like, to me, most of the people that I see coming into improv as newbies are sort of like mid 20s to early 30s,
Yeah.
people with grown up jobs who are like, oh, I've heard that this improv thing is my boss told me to come and do some improv because it would make me better at giving presentations. So I'm here. I'd like to do more with like 8-year-olds doing improv because that sounds fun, first of all.
Jess is awesome, and she and I taught at
Mm.
Second City in Chicago together, and they, I think they at Second City, they start classes for 4-year-olds, and and my friend Kim does. She's at a place called the Laughing Academy, and the same thing. She focuses mostly on like youth programs. And I worked with I was mentor for a group that was, it was called Room to Improv, and it brought improv, among other places, into the Chicago public school system because they saw it can combat bullying. It helps kids with self-awareness and self-improvement. So I think it is coming. I think it definitely is a thing where it's going to start happening. And now moving forward with easing of restrictions and people getting out of the pandemic, I think I was talking to a martial arts teacher yesterday, and he said, they are just sending their kids' program has doubled in size because parents are just like, I need you to do something with my child because they've been locked inside for 12 months and they need to get outside. So I think it is an opportunity that's going to start to happen. And I feel like once you see one kind of program pop up in the UK, all these other ones start happening. So I think I think it's effective training that will help with life. And if we can get kids earlier on to understand and be a part of that, because that's what we're trying to do as humans, is become a part of something bigger than ourselves, find a connection with people. And I think it's so important now, and we're going to be starving for that once we get to have more in-person things.
Oh yeah. I mean, I've mostly been thinking about it being a roaring 20s
Yes.
from the perspective of grown-ups going out and playing, as it were. But I think that's probably like poor kids have been just stuck inside for a year, and like how shit. I mean, I think I would have probably just gone feral if I was a child and was locked in the house for a year. I'd have been climbing the walls and like chewing off my parents' legs and stuff. I was not an indoor child.
Well, you see, as a parent, you see it because I've got a 6 and 8-year-old as well. And so it is, I mean, thank goodness they still get along with each other, but it is a moment where you see other kids come around, even if it's like kids like in a grocery store, and you see we're all starving for that. Hey, you want to do something? We're all in that mindset. And kids, because they've seen their friends on Zoom with school and virtual schooling and things like that, I think even more so, they're just like, we want to be around other little humans our age. Just put us around that. We don't even have to talk. We just want to be around that energy.
Yeah. Yeah. And actually, that's something I've missed in the pandemic because of being, in my late 20s and living with other housemates in their late 20s. I used to interact with kids a fair bit, doing a bit of in-person teaching sort of on the sides of acting, and I've got cousins who have children and all of that, and friends with children now and stuff. And I'm like, oh, kids are fun, man. I mean, I don't want any of my own, but like they're real fun to hang out with if you don't have to deal with all of the difficult stuff.
Give them back. That's the best
Yeah,
part. You're a great aunt. I loved being an uncle where it's like, rev them up for a bit and then they go back home. It's great.
yeah. I love it. Like, fill them full of sugar, teach them a new game that involves being really noisy, and then be like, I'm going to the pub where there will be no children. Bye.
If people want to reach out to you and they want to like either follow things you're doing or they want to reach out to you to teach or coach or direct or things like that, what's the best way they can do it?
I am on Facebook, just Rhiannon Jenkins, the one with the same picture that you shared. There's lots of Rhiannon Jenkinses who are all from Wales because it's a very, very classic Welsh name. Um, I have a specific page for my improv and acting and teaching stuff, which I think is Rhiannon Jenkins Actor. That sounds right. Uh, and I'm on, and I have a website, rhiannonjenkins.net. rhiannonjenkins.com was taken, hence the 90s website. I drop me a message. Hit me up on Insta, slide into the DMs. Oh, or you can email me on Rhiannon at thenurserytheatre.com. And Rhiannon is spelled Rhiannon. It's Rhiannon like the Fleetwood Mac song, not Rihanna like umbrella. Done.
Well, I mean, it's always fun seeing you and playing with you, and whether it's virtual or in person, I can't wait to play again. Thanks for taking time out to play.
No, thanks for having me. It was super fun.
Okay, we'll talk soon, my friend.
Yay.
Bye.